Back with another one. It's starting to look like a forklift again. This episode, we get the upright back on and put back together and back on, so stick around. Okay, I skipped a little ahead. Didn't record some of this, but after almost 5 years, the upright is finally back on little red. If you watched the video where I took it apart, it was basically the reverse process. Um, After I got everything uh, stripped and painted, I have to do some touch up because this thing's heavy. And anyway, um, the bracket, I had to reattach the brackets to the outside of the frame, and then slide the inner part back in. Took all the sprockets apart, cleaned them up, lubed them, and put them back on. Uh, the biggest, and then you can see I finally have the horizontal um, hydraulic cylinders, or the tilt hydraulic cylinders back in there. The biggest problem was getting those back on, which holds um, the upright to the transaxle. There's two clamshell bearings on each side in there, half clamshell bearings on each side, and it really makes it difficult. And there's not much, the bottom bolt there, you can't see it. There is very little room. So I use an assortment of different tools here. Um, I got a little stubby one I made when I was taking it off. I bought some additional stubby ones. I went out and bought a set of offset ones, and it took a combination of all that to get that back on. Um, and then I overlapped one of the the left side here. I overlapped the camshell bearing slid out and overlapped, so I ended up having to take it not completely back apart, but loosen it up and slide those back on, and finally got it done. So what I've got left here is I've got to get that main hydraulic cylinder put back together and mounted in here. And then I've got these over here that I need to put back on. And then there is a bar that goes across there. And then that bar, which um, the forks actually sit on, hang on. So I got to get those on yet. And um, a few other things. And then we will drag the counterweight out, clean it up, and paint it. After I get all this done, I've got quite a bit of touch up to do. Uh, it's just going to get all scratched up, but or do one touch up on it and go from there. So, or keep working here. All right, we're on the main cylinder. This is the piston boot, whatever you want to call it, the old one that came out of it. For some reason, I bought two new ones, and that's what they look like. So I have cut the wires and unbolted it, bolted it, put the new one on, and I'm going to try using this, a piston tool, and slide that down there. Trying to decide if I should use some WD-40 or what I should do on that. Now, I did clean out the cylinder itself. Try not to get that down in the cylinder. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to juice this up a little bit. And then I'm going to drop that in there, and hopefully I can get it to go in without too much of a problem. So we're sitting down for a minute, get set up, and we'll give an attempt. Well, it worked. So now the last thing I have to do is put this cap on. Now, it's got a seal here, and I can give you the number on it in a little bit. Of course, the new seal that they have now is not the same thickness. But it should still seal it off. What I don't understand is there doesn't seem to be any gasket up here. So I will finish putting this together, and then we'll throw it into the upright. Okay, so we're going to try to rustle the cylinder up here. And when we get up here, I need to um, put the hydraulic hose on it. And then we'll drop it down in there. Hopefully I don't kill myself here. Okay. I'm guessing that is not a swivel end. What was I thinking? Luckily, I'm going to swivel in on the other side. Okay. 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 Here we go. Oh, okay. Now I've got my clamp, and it did not have any rubber bushing or anything. So I designed this in OpenSCAD and 3D printed it. Okay. There we go there. I would say that's about 9/16. Boy, I got a lot of cleaning up to do. Yeah, I need to find my 9/16 socket. We'll just do it this way. A little bit of overkill. All right, there we go. So I'll go ahead and hook up the hydraulic hoses, and then we hook up the uprights. or can't remember the trolleys. And then the last thing left on this is, all right, for all intents and purposes, the uprights put back together. Got our new hydraulic hoses on. Got our chains back on. And everything's pretty much ready to go. Just waiting to be able to get her started. Getting those links out of there and put back in was kind of a struggle, but I did get them. Of course, towards the end, I finally figured out how to do them the best. But we're all ready to go as far as hoist is concerned. Now I did, when I put them back in, put the inside rail inside the outside rail, I'd bought some special lube for that and misplaced it, so I used some spray lithium grease on it, but it's still pretty tight, so I'm gonna have to, as you can see, I don't even have it all the way down. I'm hoping that when I get her fired up, that this will get it moved up so I can put some more grease on it. Hopefully it's not too stiff. And I made a new rubber, well, actually this is, our 3D printed a new gasket, or not gasket, but oh, I don't know what you'd call it there. I'm going to probably, before this is all done, strap that down with a pipe clamp, and I'll probably print another bumper, I guess you'd call it, for that. And other than that, I would have to say, out of all the stuff I've done on this so far, this was the most labor intensive. Getting that off, getting it taken apart, cleaned up. One thing I did is, when I put her back together, I put this on upside down, so I had to take that off and flip it over. And of course the heads are on the inside in here, so this one's not quite tight, so I'm gonna have to lift it up and tighten this up. And there's a little bit of surface rust on here. I cleaned these up, threw them in a bucket of Rust 911, and then washed them off and threw them in a box. And of course they got some surface rust on it. I took most of that off, and then I sprayed it with WD-40, and then when I get going, I've got a can of chain lube that I use on that. These are fairly easy. There's one seal that goes up in here that I replaced, and then I think I may have recorded this earlier. I replaced that. This is what a new one looks like. For some reason I bought two of them, only needed one. But anyway, that's pretty simple. The one thing that I did learn is, where did I put it? These little half nuts, you learn something new every day. These are called jam nuts. And you can see there, they used them here. Now, I went out and I got new bolts for these, and they were too long, so I had to cut those off. And on here, I didn't use the jam nuts. I just used some regular nuts up on this top side here. Before I cut these off, it'd come up here and catch on this bracket right here. So this is kind of a short one, and I appreciate everybody following along and any comments I get, and please like and subscribe. I got a spot right here cleaned up so I can bring that heavy counterweight back over and get that all done. And then the other last major thing, gotta make a new one of these. So till next time, thanks for watching.